Welcome back, everybody, to a very special episode of the Pick and Roll Show. We are back for Boxing Day, first one after Christmas, and we had some great Christmas Day action in the NBA. No official plays for that, but we have 3 official plays coming for you later today, and we're excited to be back after the weekend on the Board NBA YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Board NBA for all of our shows, all of the shows that come out each weekday. Different schedule this week, which we'll cover in a second, but typically every weekday at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time, we go to Pips for his best bets, and we just talk NBA in general, giving you guys some great content. You can also check us out at the Board NBA on Twitter if you prefer to watch the live stream over there, of course. We had some great games yesterday. Pips, overall, how was your Christmas? Merry Christmas to you. First time I've seen you since Friday. I just spent some time with family. What did you have going on?
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, man. Merry Christmas to you and to everyone watching this stream. Yeah, my Christmas for me was pretty good. Just went to my parents in the other part of the Croatia, and I'm currently here now. A little bit very weird to be in another place for a stream,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's been great. Spent some time with the family. Had one day off with the Christmas Eve, and yeah, everything going well. Yeah, and loved the some results and some stuff on the Christmas games on the from the NBA. So yeah, looking forward to this today.
Yeah, myself, I had a pretty good Christmas overall with family. In terms of betting, I did not have a good day. I had some really good prices on things, and sometimes they just don't pan out. It is what it is. But we're hoping to get some better ones in today with the 3 official picks coming your guys' way. But just a few talking points I wanted to bring up from Christmas Day. So to preface, both of us, we weren't super in tune with all the games going on because there was family things. But just 3 narrative things I kind of wanted to discuss. First of all, the Milwaukee Bucks, they lose handily to the Boston Celtics. This is the 3rd game in a row they've lost, and it's just they're playing good teams, but the Bucks are currently the 2 seed in the East. They lost to the 1 seed in the Celtics in a blowout yesterday. They lost in a blowout to the Brooklyn Nets on Friday, who are the 4 seed, and they lost. It didn't end in a blowout. They only lost by 8 to the Cavs, but it was a blowout if you followed that game. And the Cavs are the 3 seed. So the 1, the 3, and the 4 seed, all losses for the Bucks in a row. Do you think this is any method for concern for the Bucks, who just maybe can't beat some of the best in the East that are going to be their playoff opponents?
Yeah, it's a bit concerned, but we'll see when they get Chris Middleton healthy. I
Right.
mean, it's very difficult when teams zone up against the Giannis, like they stop him, and then you don't have another guy to show up. Like Drew Holiday is a decent, but we saw in the playoffs when he was like shooting 30% from the field, like in most of the games, and you just can't rely on him to win you games when Giannis is locked down. So yeah, we just need to wait them for have healthy Chris Middleton, but they have the easiest schedule for the like first 2 months in the season. So their schedule, their record was a bit overrated. And if you take a look at the loss against the Memphis Grizzlies, they were completely destroyed by them because Giannis had a difficult matchup and no other guy has shown up, and that will be the problem for them, especially with against in the playoffs, because Cleveland just showed that they can just do a decent defense on Giannis. He will score a lot, but anyone else won't score anything. Like, and then you have the second matchup. They lost to the Nets, where they locked down Giannis, and everyone else didn't shoot well, and they lost. So
Mm.
yeah, a bit of a worry on that side, but I think that will be resolved when they have healthy Chris Middleton back.
And I want to just go over some MVP narratives from yesterday. So a big one was Tatum against Giannis. Jason Tatum had an MVP night, or MVP day, sorry. It was an earlier game. He had 41 points, just looking out, on 14 for 22 shooting. That was obviously incredible. 41 points for Tatum. And I also would like to give a shout out because Nikola Jokic dropped 41 points, 15 assists, 15 rebounds, 41, 15, and 15, an all-time NBA Christmas Day game. I think that performance would solidify Tatum as a top pick. I'll get your thoughts on that. But also, Nikola Jokic won 2 in a row, and that's kind of handicapping him here. I think he should firmly be in this MVP conversation as well. What do you think about that?
So that's the interesting spot because I think, and this is probably a crazy stake, but we first time in NBA history we have two times MVP who is underrated. Like I think everyone underrates him because he's not the guy that looks at the numbers. Like he can score 40 almost every night. Like but he's just trying to get his teammates involved, try some other guys get going. But when you have a very important game where all eyes on you and you need to score a big night for order for your team to win, like there is not many guys in the league that you want over Nikola Jokic. Like he can score 40 points on 70% shooting like almost every night, and that's crazy. And then you look at his other stats, and he has like 13 rebounds and 10 assists, and yeah, it's just amazing. I think he's actually one of the best offensive guys. Like I'll probably go that far to say maybe even knocking at the top 5 offensive players ever in this league. So yeah, I think he should be in the MVP conversation for like 100%.
It's just not flashy. I mean, he's just not a flashy player, but he's as good as he was in his 2 MVP seasons. Now, voter fatigue is a thing. He'd have to like beat out probably his own stats to win MVP a third time in a row. But
He's
The Nuggets are the 1 seed, and his stats are as impressive, and in some categories, even more impressive.
he is getting better over the season. Like he had a poor start to the season because he wasn't like healthy when he and in the good condition when he starts. Like in the first month of the season, he had 21 points on average with 11 rebounds and 8 assists. Over the last 11 games in December, he's on 30 points. Like that's 9 points more, 2 rebounds more, and 2 assists more. Over the last 11 games, he's on 30, 13, and 10 average. And while shooting like 66% true shooting, which is 10% above league average. Like that's mind blowing. And his team
So,
is winning like
yeah, he's
absurd.
doing all this, and now his team is also the 1 seed. They were my 1 seed pick going to the season. It's a very tight Western Conference, I will say. The currently 7 seed has 19 wins and is 3.5 games back at the 1 seed. But it's just like Jokic. It's incredible. He should absolutely firmly be in the conversation for that MVP.
Yeah, just getting good. Like MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. is just back. Jamal Murray is still trying to get to his
Getting there.
great
He had
form.
a good game
Aaron
yesterday.
Gordon is playing out of his mind, like especially if you like that dunk last night, like that's just
Oh
mind
my
blowing.
god.
Yeah, and you have like KCP, Bruce Brown, and they are deep. In Highland, like they are deep, and if they figure out the defense, like they are the top 3 contenders to win it all.
Yeah, I loved him as a contender. But let's keep moving here. We'll move on into the recap. I'll do a brief recap of Friday because it's a couple days ago. Um, I'll be the first to say, guys, it was a very frustrating Friday. I don't know if you guys tuned into the action over there. Some tough losses on the board. Let's go to the BetStamp page. So you can go to the Find Better section on the BetStamp app on your phone or betstamp.app in your browser. And in the media pick section, you have pick and roll. On the season, it's looking great. 47 and 34, 6.7% ROI. On Friday, the picks go 1 and 3. Doncic covers easily, so we don't really need to cover that. Maybe just your thoughts on the Brooklyn Milwaukee game overall, because there's 2 picks there before we'll go to the Yusuf Nurkic situation. But Milwaukee and Brooklyn, just a weird game. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was like amazing. KD ended the third quarter with 23 points. I mean, needed just only one bucket, and he didn't. He was on a hook
Yeah.
there. Like, but the main reason is because they were up by 20, and he just didn't need to score for them to win. And I didn't expect that. We had like 2 points spread in that game, and everyone expected a tight game, including me. So that's why I went with 2 same game parlays for that game. And I think if the game was closer, I think we clear both of these. And yeah, if we get only one of these two, which is like Giannis ended the third quarter with 26 points, so he was close too. He didn't score a single point in the entire fourth quarter, like Giannis, who scores like one
Yeah.
points per minute in the NBA games. Like that was amazing. And yeah, if we get only one, we are split with a couple units down, like zero point 0.7 units down, and that's nothing scary. But this was a huge downswing of our show.
Yeah, just the Durant by half a point stung, and then what stung even more was on the other same game parlay in the Blazers Nuggets game. Lillard covers his assist line in the third quarter. Nurkic had 11 points at half. We only needed 12. 11 at half, so I was like, okay. I mean, Yusuf Nurkic, he's bound to get fouled. He's going to hit a free throw or grab a layup at some point, but nothing is guaranteed in betting. Your Nurkic does not score. You watched this game. I know you have a lot of thoughts. What happened to Yusuf Nurkic here?
Yeah, he had 11 points, and he had two free throws and missed both in the second quarter. Like he could win in the
Yep, yep.
second. And then, okay, like 1 point he'll get that in the second half. I wasn't even worried. And then in the second half he missed 5 straight shots in the third quarter. Like, come on. But like only 1 point. I know he will get back as soon as Jokic gets into the game. And he gets back with 8 minutes left, and I like 8 minutes to score 1 point against Nikola Jokic. That's easy. And then he came back at 7:52 with 3 fouls, and 40 seconds later he's fouled out. Like 3 fouls in 40 seconds with a huge, like, he needed to defend Nikola Jokic, and he had 1 foul on Nikola Jokic and 2 offensive fouls, like the most ridiculous fouls you could imagine. Like you had 5 fouls, and Damian Lillard scores a three, and you push Nikola Jokic under the rim with like without a ball to contest and get sixth and fouled out. Like there's some Yusuf Nurkic stuff, and unbelievable loss there.
Yeah, it's just part of betting, part of the nature of betting is you're going to have unfortunate days like this. It is what it is. We have to just kind of live with it. It's and as we always say, like, we don't want to sound like we're overly complaining. It's just like I think at the end of the day, it's just kind of funny to like, how the hell does he go an entire half without scoring a point when you need that bucket? But you think about these more than you think about the close wins like this. So you just kind of have to eat it and move on, not overly dwell on these things. But with that, we're going to transition now. Of course, go over to the Thrive Fantasy segment, guys. Christmas Day, they had an amazing contest yesterday. Hopefully, you guys got involved, but it doesn't stop with Thrive Fantasy, the daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. You can sign up to Thrive Fantasy with code HAMMER and receive a 100% deposit match up to $250. Now, what you can do when you get that deposit match is you can go over to thrivefantasy.com or the Thrive Fantasy app in your phone, and you can find the $20 NBA Monday contest. Every day, they have player prop contests like this for the NBA and other sports alike. Only $20 to enter this one, but $2,000 in prizes. First place will take home $500. To win, there's 20 players with player props on the board. You make 10 selections out of those 20 players with their over or under. The over or under is assigned a fantasy value based on how likely it is to occur. You can rack up the points using this method. Get yourself on that leaderboard. Get yourself part of, again, that $2,000 prize. Sign up with that code HAMMER. Super easy to sign up, super easy to get involved, and get started with Thrive Fantasy today. With that, as always, we want to kind of free roll you a couple of picks here. So, Pips, you mentioned before the stream you have 3 that you liked on the board here that you want to share. What are those 3, and why do you like them?
So the first one is Miles Turner over 1.5 blocks and steals. He is playing against the New Orleans Pelicans, and he will have Zion driving to the rim like heavily, and a lot of great block situation, and also Jonas Valanciunas. Inside, he'll have there, and some other guys driving to the rim. And the last game against them, he had 3 blocks, so he covered this only in blocks. So I think he can easily cover this line
Yeah.
in steals and blocks combined. Second one is Kevin Porter Jr. over 10.5 rebounds and assists. I think this is a great spot for him because Bulls are like heavy helping on the drives, so there is like a ton of spot up situation for a kick out. And with Jabari Smith and Jalen Green waiting for the ball, I think he can cover this line in assists. and also he'll get the rebounds because he has amazing size for point guard. And yeah, I think this game will be I think a little bit worse below average shooting, so that's brings some more rebounding opportunities. And third one is Josip Nurkic. Yeah, I know that's how this sounds, but against the Charlotte Hornets, everyone was getting like Sabonis and Jokic had almost 50 rebounds. And not almost, they had 50 rebounds combined in 2 games. And I think if you take a look at Nurkic's size, he's even bigger than both of these guys. And I think his rebounding here should be like easy, especially on the fencing glass.
So it's important not to hold a burden when you're making bets. It's always a one by one, one game by one game basis. So we're gonna do that for Nurkic here. But those are three great spots that Pips like. Make 7 other selections. It's not about going 10-0 on your pick. It's about getting the most amount of points with Thrive Fantasy. Again, sign up with that code Hammer and deposit today. All right, let's move on now into the official picks segment of the show. 3 official picks for Boxing Day today. Hopefully some late Christmas gifts being passed around on the board. And the first play of the day is going to be a same game parlay. This has the potential to be a great game between the Brooklyn Nets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Here is the play.
So the first play of the day is Darius Garland over 16.5 points with Kyrie Irving over 19.5 points, which is minus 110 on DraftKings. So this bet is like Garland scored over this line in 23 out of the 27 games this season. And yeah, some others came like in tough matchups, but this one isn't a tough matchup. This is a positive matchup for him against the Nets, especially with them being focused on Donovan Mitchell, as I expect tonight. And they'll probably put Ben Simmons on Donovan Mitchell. So Garland will need to have a bigger night than usual with his offensive usage. And like if you take a look back when Fred VanVleet played the Nets, we always saw how he was like driving and scoring layups and floaters and shooting threes. And I just expect similar stuff from the Darius tonight. And I think he's currently at a buy low spot where he's like scoring 70, 80, 90 points when I expect him to be in the lower 20s, like 22 to 23 a night. So I think we are some to positive regression with Darius Garland, and this is a great spot for him to start scoring 20 or more points. And the second part is obviously Kyrie Irving to score over 30 or 20 points, 20 or more. So in the last 3 trips to the Cleveland, he scored 37, 38, and 27 points. He's obviously drafted by Cleveland and spent some time there, and that's huge for him coming back there. And I think that's not like something as simple as that to say like that KD has a tougher matchup against Evan Mobley. But if I take a look at the last season when they played in the playing tournament, they were more focused and stop with KD than they were on Kyrie. And if you double team KD, he's a bigger guy and he needs to more to pass out of it than the Kyrie. Kyrie is like quicker, so I think he can get in his spot even if they throw double teams on him. And yeah, everyone else is in a tough matchup. Everyone else has a tough matchup. This Cavs team is obviously great on defense, but I like this spot for Kyrie because I think he will need to take above average shooting, above average usage tonight, and when he shoots 20 or more times, he's clearing this line pretty easily.
So same game parlay with some faces that we've gone to plenty of times this season. I like it. Let's move into the second play here. It is in the Jazz and Spurs game. Another familiar face for the pick and roll show, Devin Vassell. Here's your second play.
So second play is Devin Vassell over 18.5 points, which is plus 100 bet MGM. I think the same price is at DraftKings. Love this spot. We already talked like a couple of times on this show against Utah Jazz, great pull-up shooters. And the thing is, even though Devin Vassell is playing a shooting guard, he's getting a ton of on-the-ball reps. And he's even playing some point guard with the second unit with this team. At least he had so far this season. And I just love it because he's doing great. And we get a decent line, a bit lower line than his season average because he had some struggles over the last couple of games. But that's pretty much reasonable when you dive a bit deeper into it. It was like coming back from the injury, but he was starting from the bench, getting like 25 minutes. Then he had a huge game against the Houston Rockets, and then he had a difficult game against the Herb Jones and players like Alvarado and poor shooting, and then two blowouts. So I just think if you get a close game, and I expect it to be, David should clear this line pretty easily.
Yeah, you've liked Devin Vassell, and you have liked betting against the Jazz with pull-up shooters like he is, as you mentioned there. So I like the spot there. Devin Vassell did not cover the line that we had for him. I believe it was on Thursday last week, but there's no grudges when you're placing bets. It's all about the next one, and Devin Vassell, good spot over here. Let's move into the third one now, a same-game parlay involving the Hornets and the Blazers. One player back from injury, another one you do love to go to with his markets. Here's your third play.
So the first one is Damian Lillard over 24.5 points, and the second one combined with LaMelo Ball over 2.5 threes, which is minus 115 at DraftKings. So the first one I'll go to LaMelo Ball just to say a couple of things. So since he came back from the injury, he scored 4 or more threes in every game he played. He had 5, 7, 4, 5, 4, and 4 threes. That's like amazing. And the most important thing is he's shooting 12 threes a game on average. So like if he shoots 12 at least you have an expected number or to make like 4 or 5. So even if he makes 3, that's like way below average. And with the way Portland defense works, I think he'll have those threes and have a great looks, especially if they deploy Rozier on the ball more. And yeah, I just love that part with his 3-point attempts. And yeah, and the second part is Damian Lillard over 25 points. I think that's pretty reasonable bet against this Hornets team. Like we had Fox, Jokic, Embiid, like everyone scoring like season highs against them because they do only single coverage, nothing special, and there is no player on the Hornets team that can defend Damian Lillard one-on-one, like in single coverage. And in the last game, he scored 26 points against them, like in a game early into the season when he wasn't at this rate of usage that he was in the last couple of games. And yeah, I think this is a great spot for him. He had a couple of tough losses in the last couple of games, and I expect him to just like you can have a slow start game, and they lost 3 games in a row. 2 were against the Oklahoma City Thunder when he was like trying to like starting the first quarter with just like not looking for his shot, creating for others, and the game ends up they lost. So I think we'll get like 4 quarters of aggressive Damian Lillard here, just like something I think that will happen, knowing his game and how he reacts after a couple of losses. And yeah, that's about it.
I love Damian Lillard. For the reasons you're saying there, just like the tenacity that he plays with, especially after a couple of tough losses. So love this one on the same game parlay as well. Those are your 3 official picks. Before we go into the recap, just want to remind you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. It helps us get on some more recommended pages, helps spread the great word of the channel. And you can also subscribe to keep up to date with all the great content we have coming your way. The new year is almost here. We have a show tomorrow. We don't have any shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is, of course, the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. We're looking to add in some more NBA content in the new year on top of this show. So if you want to stay up to date with all of the great NBA betting content that we have to offer, you got to be subscribed to the Board NBA. Make sure you're following us on Twitter to stay up to date with everything about those shows. And also, if you're listening to this in podcast form, please go out of your way to rate and review 5 stars. Again, these little things, they do go a long way to supporting me, supporting Pips, and supporting the Hammer Betting Network. Let's go in now to the recap of these 3 plays. Let's have some late Christmas gifts here. We actually have a viewer supposedly starting 14 of 14 on his bets for the first 2 games yesterday. So if that's true, huge congratulations out there. What a result. We're looking for more of the same on our show. First pick is Nets at Cavaliers, Darius Garland over 16.5 points, paired in the same game parlay with Kyrie Irving over 19.5 points. That is minus 110 at DraftKings. Second one is Devin Vassell over 18.5 points against the Jazz. That is plus 100 at BetMGM, also apparently DraftKings. And then in the third play, Hornets at the Blazers, same game parlay, Damian Lillard over 24.5 points paired with LaMelo Ball over 2.5 3-pointers made. Also DraftKings, that is minus 115. Switching it up a little bit with how we're going to promote other shows here. Got a graphic reminding you guys about what we have coming up on the Hammer Betting Network today. So in 15 minutes, it's 12 p.m. Eastern time, we have the same game parlay with Krabs Bets and DGen Weekly. This is a Monday Night Football same game parlay. So if you're into football, you're into same game parlays, they're going to construct one for you guys to tail at 12 o'clock on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. Just search Forward Progress in YouTube to be able to find this, or go to @ForwardNFL on Twitter. Next at 5:30 p.m., it's Hit the Books with Brad Powers and Joey Kanish, two of the sharpest guys you can follow on Twitter for football content. They're going to go through the college football slate for the week. Lots of excitement, lots of bowl games. They come up with some sharp betting angles. You can check it out on the Hit the Books YouTube channel at 5:30. And at 8 p.m. for the NFL primetime game tonight as the Colts and Chargers face off, Rob Pizzola and Eric Eager host a pregame show with some pregame bets and also a halftime show. That is on the Hammer HQ, that YouTube channel, at 8 p.m. So all great content for you guys to check out over there. Once again, we thank you guys for tuning into Pick and Roll. Remember, we have a show tomorrow, same time. Nothing for the rest of the week as we enjoy a little bit of holiday as we get into the new year. But happy Boxing Day, everybody. We'll see you next time for some more betting content.